missing the big picture. So in 2019, I've played a ton more live sets than I normally have, and a big thanks to you, of course, and the support you've given me for this YouTube channel, because I'm pretty sure this is why I've played a lot more of these live sets. But in the process of coming up with all these different types of live set setups, which I have a ton of videos on, I kind of lost track and forgot one very important thing, which is the reason why one of these pieces of gear is even on the table and was at my live set. So let's just kind of talk about the mentality and the mindset I took when approaching my latest live set, which I had a lot of fun on. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so for this live set, it all revolved around the MPC 1000. I've really been wanting to do a live set with just it as opposed to the Octatrack. When I did my live set, which you can check out this video, I did a live set on just the MPC 4000, that big whale back there. That was, I don't know why, it just sounded better. The timing felt a lot tighter, probably because it was all just on one machine. It just sounded great. So then from there, I bought the 1000 and I wanted to build a set around the 1000. Cool, did that. The way I approached it was, if you're looking at the screen now, each pad was, we're looking at different patterns. The same way you would approach it on the Digitact is each pattern was a different song, and the same way on the Digitact that this applies is each pattern can have pattern mutes as opposed to global mutes. So each pattern, when started, let's just hear it. Come on. So the way this song would start would be like this. So right now I just switched over to track mutes. So I have my track mutes, got my right here, simple, and then a little snare hit here, and then I can bring stuff in. So this was me kind of building the song and progressing through the track, right? And then I had kick, bring the clap in. Next sequence would be the alternate version of this song, the lower version. And same thing. So this, I knew where my track mutes were gonna go, so I can build up to this point. But for example, if I wanted to mute the kick and the clap and switch to the previous version, everything kind of comes back in. So that was fun and all, but I was missing one very important thing, and I was kind of racking my brain over it. And I guess the easiest way to explain it was the fun part. Because sure, it sounds cool, it sounds good. I even have a track sending bass MIDI notes to the siren. Cool, my bass lines are all sorted. But when it came to performing and testing it a couple times here at the house, all I was doing was just muting and unmuting parts, building the track progression, right? Changing the parts. And that was just, it just felt so boring to me. And I get it, it sounds good and people on the dance floor don't really care, especially depending on the kind of party you're playing. This specific one was just a club night and they go there to listen to dope house music and whatnot. I could have been DJing and they still would have had as much fun. So at the end of the day, it didn't really matter, but it mattered a lot to me because I didn't want to just go back there, press play, and just dance the whole time and then just unmute something once in a while. That was just, I don't know, it was just boring. So I was racking my head over this, how to make this setup more fun. And in terms of using the Octatrack as opposed to the MPC 1000, kind of like in this video where I talked about the Octatrack being more fun, it definitely is. But I still wanted to do a set with the 1000. So I, dug my heels in and I said, I don't want to change the main brain. And I've spent so much time building these programs and patterns and stuff to play the songs that I've made using all my gear, but just on here as loops. So that's where Circuit came in. Circuit, I just know it really well. And that's the very epitome of what I'm trying to get at is you need a piece of gear that you know really, really well that allows you to perform on it without having to stop or do anything. Because I know the MPC 1000 really, really well. I know the 4000 really, really well. But when it comes to recording things in and doing stuff on the fly and changing samples, start and end points, you could do it, but it's a little more difficult. It's not as fast. The Circuit, it's really fast. So what I ended up doing was, check this out. I'll go to the next song, All Night. Right? So it starts off with those tracks muted. Here, similar to when I go to my sequence settings and I look at my 16 tracks, which are laid across the pads, I laid them out here, 4x4, 4x4. So they all line up. So I know to go to this one here. And the reason they're colored is because each one has a different scale. I took the scale of what my samples were chopped in. That way I can just play whatever bass note and just throw in whatever. And synth 1, volume's turned down and it's only sending MIDI notes to the siren. But then I can take circuit and just put some drums in and do my drums live. Maybe find a clap, let's say, mute this one. That sounds pretty flat, but we'll do something a little more fun here. We'll say, right? Turn some swing up. So what's great here is that I can mute this stuff here and switch over to the next sequence. In this case, it's going to be an alternate version with the filter down, and it brings a lot of other drums in, but let's just say we have those muted. So I can switch things up while still kind of performing on circuit and not have to worry about this changing. This brings on another important thing when it comes to performing live is when you're changing songs, to not just hit next pattern and everything just like, boop, like immediately changes to the next song. Because when you think of DJing, when I'm playing records and stuff, sometimes even with like some vinyl, I'll let that stuff ride for like 2-3 minutes because they sound really good together. So I tried to approach my live set in that same way, and when it was just the MPC, it was a lot more difficult to do that. So being able to have something like the circuit or a Digitact or a TR8S where you can kind of offload some duties onto it while you start slowly changing everything else up creates a world of a difference. So let's kind of put this to practice. We'll say we are on this song here. Cool. And then if I wanted to go to the next track, I can maybe start taking the bass out. Right? And then I can mute the main sample part, which is on 9. Cool. So now we just have drums here and like one random thing here. So I can kind of filter this up, get my next sequence going. It'll wait until the end of the bar to change, so I'll select it now, and then it'll kind of come in. There it is. So if I go to track mutes, I can bring the kick in of that track and mute circuit's kick. So now we kind of have if I turn down the volume of circuit, we have those drums here, and then if I mute these, this is what's playing on circuit. So it's kind of an easy way to kind of slowly transition from one song to the next, right? So we can bring this stuff back in. And I can just high pass filter this all the way up. And then just mute these. And then, again, switch over to that pattern. Because right now we're on sequence. This one here matches with that one. And I don't think there's anything on this because this song heavily relies on this sample. So I can just bring this down. Cool, we're set. If needed, this is in key. I just went up a couple octaves. Because again, the sample is basically the bass line in the song. So we'll go to track mutes and play the next part. Cool. Go to track mutes, take that annoying cowbell out. And if I want, just improvise. Cool, maybe. And it's all in scale. So this now is changed up to, what is that? A, C, D, E. Way off. E minor is what this key for this sample is in. And then just mute this. So what I'm trying to get at here is this setup was really fun. It's super awesome, but I was missing, in my case, my circuit, which is the thing I know really well that allows me to improvise and do some fun, weird, funky things live and improvise. And key word here, perform. I was performing live. I wasn't just playing back patterns and unmuting or muting. And in some cases, that is totally fine. This is just a case for me where I just wasn't having fun playing live by just muting and unmuting. Here I was able to redo some drums and do some weird trippy shit and just keep it moving, keep it going, you know. And yeah, it's just and the crazy thing here is like I can eventually almost mute everything on the 1000 and just start performing on the circuit and the siren and start getting into some weirder kind of more acidy stuff if I wanted. Like yeah, let's listen to some more. Let's listen to some more music. Let's see. We'll go to I'm in, which is here and here. Cool. Mute that. Go find a new drum from drum 1. Boom, boom, boom. Cool, that works. Of course, would it be like selecting my samples like that live? But you can if you want. I can even record stuff in. Let's say. Cool. I'll pitch that down. Maybe add some reverb. Maybe some delay on that. Cool. So here, I know that this sample is in E flat minor. So we can say, cool, we got a bass line. I like that. I can duplicate that here, duplicate that there, tie those in, and do some higher notes. As far as the siren, I don't have it accepting program changes because it's, again, a really simple synthesizer that you can just kind of sculpt and create live. If I really wanted to change this up. Ugh. Go to our mutes. Yeah. Simple, so simple. And I'm just having fun performing, muting, unmuting, changing up drum patterns. So this was just a big like, dude, of course I need a circuit. I mean, when I say I need a circuit, that means I need a machine that I'm really comfortable with, that I'm willing to kind of stray off the guided path that my MPC provided me, right? So this just wanted to keep me dead center, straight down, locked in forever. But here I can start improvising and doing some weird stuff and eventually maybe take it to, let's say we got this, right? And then I mute the sample. It'll mute at the end of the bar. Leave that vocal in there. Mute this kick. Bring in the ride off of here. It's all pretty much set up the same. And then bring the kick back in here. And since we're all in the same key or scale, I can go and let's say duplicate that pattern here. We'll go. I'll change the length to just, I don't know, 6. What note are we hitting that one? I'll move it to here. start speeding stuff up. Let's go back to our main. Go over to tempo. Maybe mess this bass line up a little more, we'll say. Maybe take it down to 3. Right, so now we're getting into this like faster territory. Maybe mute this. So on drum 3 I put the closed hat and the open hat, but I'm gonna mute it and only bring the open hat on here. So take kick out and boom, like we're in like a whole new territory completely. And this is still that same song that was all chill a second ago, but now we're just like techno world. Yes, Siren, take me there. Then we got our closed hat. Maybe some snares. Oh, that is definitely not a snare, but you get the idea. Maybe add some more percussive stuff here. We'll just say, yeah. Yep. Again, like have something that you're comfortable with. This I'm really comfortable with. Yep, I could just be jamming on this like for 10 minutes. I mean, the crowd would probably get kind of annoyed, but if you're getting into it, the crowd's going to be getting into it. Never trust a DJ who's not dancing. He might just not be into his own music, so why should you, right? If the dude's just back there having a great time playing a live set, yes. Like, dude, this is fucking cool. Like, I'm totally down with this. And the crazy thing is, I've never made this song before because I'm just improvising this. So how would I take this into continuing the next part of my set, right? So I'm gonna try and go to track 1. So what I'm gonna do there, kind of start fading this bass down. Maybe add some delay to just to kind of help fade out that percussive sound. So when I mute it, and then this is also going crazy. And then I can just kind of fade the bass line out. If I really wanted, I could change the volume. I don't suggest that because when you bring it back, it might be somewhere completely different. But in this case, I'm going to do it. Then mute those notes and bring the volume back. It might be loud now when I bring it back in later. Who knows? So now we're just here, right? We can do the closed hat. And then we have our kick here, which is a very important thing to consider when playing live because people feel it a lot. So when it changes, it kind of signifies a new song is now shown up. So the way to kind of trick the brain is to then change the track while the kick is still going into the next main part of the sequence. So let's see if it works here. I might have the track kick not muted. So cool. So the kick is still the same. So we're still kind of on the previous track, but we're now adding new elements. But we also got the clap going here. So then I can just say, take this out. And I'm going to take this kick. And all we're going to have now on the circuit is just the kick. And then I can unmute the sample. Of course, you would be doing this a lot more rhythmically, I guess. So, yeah, we're here. This is it. All right, so now that we just have the kick here, I can do that and I can switch sessions to match the session here, which is this pad here. So we're in the same scale. So that way the siren, whatever notes I send to it, are in scale. And I already have a kick on here, so let's see what this one's. Yeah, that works. Let's play some. So I just have a couple presets here on the siren that are just kind of sounds that I like. Let me set this back to 16 steps. Let's see. Cool, that works. Track sounds a little slow, so to combat that, I'm going to mute that, and I'm actually going to add hats on here. So drum 4, and then just add like a 16th. That just immediately speeds up the track, even though it's still the same tempo. Make them a little more staccato. Need a little bit of swing on here. All right, so this track feels just a little slow even after the added hi-hat, so let's go ahead and try to speed this up. Oh, actually, crap. So do you hear how it's kind of falling off here? I'll play it for you again. So you hear how it's starting to kind of fall off a little bit? That's because I recorded that loop as a loop, not a one shot that I repatterned on the MPC 1000. So I made the 4-bar loop in my computer in anticipation, thinking that I was going to keep the whole night at 124 BPM. But sometimes the crowd starts getting hyped. You start getting hyped. You want to speed it up. The next DJ is going to be playing a little harder or whatever. So you want to kind of ramp it up. So in that case, I kind of messed up in recording my 4-bar loops at 124. So can't really do much about that now. I'm going to just keep that back at 124. But I mean, that's kind of the gist of this whole thing, right? The long story short for all of this is something I like to call chopping wood. Like, it's just something to make you look busy, or something to kind of do, because like you have plenty of chopped wood, but you might as well bring something else to kind of just keep moving and keep doing something. That way you're not just standing there staring at the crowd while they stare at you. So for me, that happened to be Circuit. It reminded me that I need something that's really fun, tangible, and performative live. Other great options outside of Circuit, the Digitac, Octatrack, you could do the TR8S, the TR8, whatever you are comfortable with. Even like an old ER1, those are really good too. Whatever allows you to kind of perform and do some more stuff live. And this could even be a synthesizer that you know how to program really well. So just give yourself something fun to do. And that was another reason why I take the SP404 with me, which I let a friend borrow. Because it's just more effects and things I can twiddle around on. But don't be too distracting from the point of everything when performing live, or whatever your point is. My point when I'm performing live, I want people to dance. If people are just standing there, I feel like I'm not doing good. And if people are standing there watching what I'm doing, I feel like I'm almost doing too much. So it's kind of a fine balance for me in terms of what I want to happen and whatnot. Because when you're playing live, you're in service to the crowd, right? They want to dance and they want to have fun. That's your job. That's currently your position when you are, behind your gear. You want to make people move. At least that's, again, my position. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of things. I'm going to keep jamming on this, try to get back to another cool random improvised track that I did a second ago. And yeah, if you want to support the channel, check out the merch I got going here. And on to another great year. Thanks for checking this out. Leave questions and whatnot down below. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. And yep, I'll catch y'all soon. Share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace. Oh, that did not. Oh God, that did not work as planned. All right, let's start fresh. Track 2.